Welcome back to Club Bounteous, episode 3. I'm excited about today, man. I got a special guest here. Had a chance to have a good conversation with him last week, but goes by the name of Cedric Ceballos, also known as the 1992 Slam Dunk champion,
Right.
and exclusively known as the only one to hocus pocus it. 'Cause we see a lot of dunk champions today, but he's still the one of one when it comes to the hocus pocus.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you said special guest, I started looking around. Is somebody else coming in here? But
No.
thanks for having me. I appreciate it. We did get deep Friday, and to actually put this on tape or film or data or whatever you want to call it, it's gonna be good, man. Let's go.
No, man, I appreciate it. Just honestly, I want to get started with the hocus pocus, man.
Yeah.
Walk me through that day, that night, that scene.
This is a process, man,
Okay.
of a kid, South Central kid, Compton High School kid, recording all the dunk contests, dreaming I was Dr. J, dreaming I was Michael Jordan, dreaming I was Dominique Wilkins, man. And when you get that opportunity, you try to take full advantage of it. And it came to me out of tragedy, actually. And everybody is documented on the story, but Magic was diagnosed with HIV and had to retire. We were close, not to a point where he confided in me or I confided in him, but we played against each other. I grew up in LA. He was a hero of mine and a lot of other people, but he happened to be working out because they voted him starter in the All-Star game in Orlando in '92. Even though he was retired, they said, no, you're going to start this game. If you're going away, you're going to go away with us giving you praises. We played the Lakers in the Forum in Inglewood, and I'm warming up, being a young guy, my second year as a rookie, and Magic was warming up. He was working out too as well. He's like, yo, Sid, what's he gonna do, man? D Brown came with the whole thing. You're gonna have to take it to another level and go all the way blind. And when he said that, I just like, oh, wow, all the way blind. Now let me take a step all the way back to 1990.
Yeah.
That summer, after the season was over with, they have this All-Star Classic in Orlando where I'm going to be in a dunk contest in Orlando again.
Okay.
It was the college one, though.
Yeah.
And I won that.
Easy.
I won that. I beat D Brown, who won the year before.
Bad
In the
boy.
college one,
That's a bad
I
boy.
pumped up my shoes. In the college one, I did the dab dunk. In college one, I did the bounce with the reverse. Everything that D Brown did in the NBA one, he took from me from college.
Ah.
But he was playing and I wasn't. I was riding the bench. He was playing. NBA wanted names, so he got to take it. So when we played Boston, I run out the tunnel and I see him out there and I run right up to him. Yeah, can I get my percentage since you took all my
I need
dunks?
a piece of
You
that.
took my idea for the Reebok pump ups. You did all that
I
stuff.
need a piece of
And he
that.
just started laughing and this, that, and the other. So then when Magic, fast forward, when Magic said, you're going to have to go all the way blind, I was like, okay, wait a minute. Now, he don't even really know the story about how all those dunks that he did with mine. So yeah, I got to take it to a next level. So once I got back to Phoenix, me and the gorilla started trying to put this blindfold thing together. And trust me, it was not working. It's real ugly. I think out of 2 months of trying this thing, I may have made it 2.5 times, and it just was real ugly. But again, even when we spoke Friday, it was about, it's bigger than me. It was like the moment. Now,
Yeah.
Larry Johnson, Grandmama,
Yeah.
ended up being Rookie of the Year that year. Unbelievable player. In Rookie of the Year that year. Very high talented player. National championship UNLV. Sean Kemp,
Yeah.
the Rain Man, Seattle.
Yeah.
It was his time. It was his turn to finally win a dunk contest. And I looked at the storyline of how it usually goes. You had John Starks, New York Knicks. You had Nick Anderson, Orlando. He was the hometown favorite.
Right.
Me being a dark horse, I didn't get to play as much. I needed something to be remembered by. Now, there's a lot of firsts in this. I was the first one to speak to the NBA and tell them I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 ways this can go. If it goes in, great. I made it 2.5 times, perfect. If it doesn't go in, let's do it on a spoof. I'm going to fall, act like I broke my neck. The mascots are going to run out with a stretcher. They're going to pick up the ball, put the ball on the stretcher, and then run back out. It was going to be real funny. If you see when I made that dunk, I'm looking over to my left, and that's where the gorilla, and I don't know if he's called the Magic or whatever he is, they're sitting there waiting with the stretcher.
With the stretcher.
So it goes in, and I look over him, party time. It's time to
Yeah.
turn up, pop the
Yeah,
bottles.
yeah.
I had already
It's
won this thing, but I knew at that time that it would take me to another level. Like you get an opportunity to make your name. When you get it, people sometimes fear away from it. Even
definitely.
though I knew I was up against Larry Johnson and Sean Kemp, all these big NBA names, I said, how am I going to walk out of this arena and people are going to know who my name is? And I couldn't do it on the floor because the Suns had a pretty good team. I didn't get that much time. So I just knew that it was an opportunity. So I'd end up winning it. And then I went to my dark horse, putting my name on the map. And still to this day, as you look at the old footage, the only standing ovation before I made the dunk, they got Dr. J doing it. They got Michael Jordan doing it, and me. Nobody else got a standing ovation before we did the dunk. I got a 50. They got 50s. And it's just now the dunk contest is gone from their props, from
Yeah.
letting the NBA know. So I was the first one to say, hey, man, I'm going to use a prop. I'm going to let the NBA know what I'm going to do. We can collab on this together to make it what it is, entertainment. So it just came out great for me, man. And even to this day, man, 30 something years later, people still ask about
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a one-on-one moment. It's the first of many, right? You're the
it. Right.
first trendsetter when it comes to props, and you see a plethora of different props now, and what it's grown to. But yeah, you was the first one to tip that off,
Yeah.
and with all the talent in the dunk contest, my brother, we got this saying where it's in you, it's not on you. So
Mm,
it only made sense for you to perform when the lights was on,
right, right.
and so that's a moment that it just so happened that you was prepared. I like to use the 5 Ps: proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Ooh, yeah,
And so you was
yeah.
prepared. That was your moment, and God helped you see it through. So that's definitely
Yeah, I love them peas because I'm a persistence and patience guy.
yeah,
And most of the time when I crack the door and let God in, it just happens. Because look at how everything lined up. I won the dunk contest in this same building as a college player. I didn't get to do it the next year, and then it comes back to Orlando, the same building, and it just lined up perfectly, you know?
listen, nothing happens by accident, but everything by design.
Yeah,
Like I say, right place, right time, right preparation. You said patience and persistence.
yeah,
So there's two things I need to practice more of,
yeah.
but it's that's beautiful. I know you out of LA. Right? I
Yes.
told you Friday I spent some time at Cerritos College. That's where I went and played JUCO ball.
Mhm.
I know you spent some time in JUCO. I want you to walk the people through the moment, the Taco Bell moment with the coach, just so we could dive right into what
Yeah.
we go dive into, just for people can understand like the significance of what that really is.
Yeah, I was blessed with this wonderful love of music, and God gave me this voice too that's just perfect for radio. So that's where I thought I was going.
For sure.
And being a kid in South Central LA, West LA to be exact, I thought that's where I wanted to go. And Fairfax High School was a place for that. I thought for me, I could be a DJ, I can get on the radio. They filmed Grease there. Red Hot Chili Peppers just dropped. It was
Yeah.
just Melrose. It was just
Yes.
a great
Prime
place
real
to be.
estate.
And my mom was like, nope, you're gonna have to drive 2 hours in traffic every day and go to Compton and go to Dominguez High School because that's where your bigger brother is going. And he was the basketball phenomenon. I wasn't. So for years, I just was under his wing. And after he left his senior year, I was still there as a junior. I'm thinking I'm gonna transfer to Fairfax this time and start working on this radio and DJing career. And my mom was like, no, you got to stay there. I was voluntarily put on varsity. I didn't make varsity until my senior year. I barely played out 4 to 8 minutes a game. We had a pretty good team. But the last game, we had a rivalry against Linwood.
Mhm.
The star player of the team, Ronnie Coleman, he
Ronnie
breaks his
Cole.
wrist.
Ronnie Cole.
Yeah, Ronnie Coleman breaks his wrist in the dunk contest in a pep rally type of situation to get ready for our rival. The coach says, hey, tomorrow is a Friday night. You starting.
Yeah.
I'm like, I go from 4 minutes to starting against a
Quick.
rival, the last
Quick.
game of the season, packed house.
Packed
We're at
house.
home. It's a
Packed
Friday
house.
night, and it's raining cats and dogs. Raining cats and dogs. So that automatically made my heart just pound. It's just paranoid. But again, for some reason, I was ready. It just wasn't my time. And from that game, I had wonderful numbers that everybody was just shocked. We ended up playing the first half of the game and getting rained out, if you wanted, so to speak. We got rained out because the roof was leaking. It is Compton, California. Roof was leaking. It doesn't rain in Southern California, which is nonsense. But when it does,
It rain a little.
it rains on the
It,
court.
it
So we
does.
had to continue the game the next day, and I thought it was just a fluke and it would end, that half. But the second half, I played even better, even with the rest and having to come back, and the crowd came back in too, and it was a day game, and we ended up losing in the championship. We went on in the playoffs, but those 5 games were just my career games. Numbers was bananas, but I still didn't get it recruited. So I ended up trying to figure out, what am I going to do? If I head south out of LA, which is LA Harbor, which is West LA, which is Trade Tech, everybody and their mama goes there, and I'm going to hang out. I'm not going to be focused on what I need to do for this radio and television career I want to have. But if I went north to Ventura, where I don't know nobody, it's predominantly white. It's Simi Valley. We all know Simi Valley and what they it's it is a place where it's beautiful, but you're not really sure if they are going to be accustomed to somebody black as myself up there. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
Absolutely.
So I take the plunge. I take that plunge. I remember mom's dropping me off. I unpacked my stuff to go in my room, and she gave me a five, and it was less than $300 in her hand. And I knew it took me about 2 or 3 hours to realize I'm never going back home and I'm never asking moms for nothing. I knew then, in those 2 to 3 hours of just rearranging my room and this, that, and other, that I knew I wasn't going back. I was going to do whatever it takes. First thing I did is, I'm hungry, so I walked to Taco Bell, which is around the corner, and I got an application. So I'm starting to work there. I'm working there, and then on my second day, coach walks in. But at the time, I didn't know it was a coach, and he asked me, "Is nobody taking orders?" And I am not qualified to be on the register. I'm just in the back preparing food. So I come up to him and I say, "Let me know what you want. I'll fix it. And then when they want to come charge you, it'll make it a easier process for you." Now, every time I ask him something, Taco Bell had this menu that I would hit my head. So eventually, "Man, you too tall to be working here." And I was like, "Yeah, I know. Do you want extra sour cream on that? How about some Bell beef or this, that, and the other?" And he kept trying to push me to talk basketball. And I'm like, "You ever played basketball before?" I said, "Yeah, I played in my high school." I'm like, "Do you want this? Do you want that? Extra cheese?" I'm still trying to take his order. And he's like, "Where would you play high school?" And I'm getting annoyed. Now I'm getting annoyed. "Look, can I just take your order and you just leave me alone about this hoop thing?" And I tell him Dominions, and he says, "Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, you played with the Spanish guy, Ceballos," and he started chopping my name up, and I go, "Wait a minute, Ceballos?" He was like, "Yeah, that guy." I said, "I'm him," and he was like, "No, wait, what are you doing here?" I said, "I go to school right there." He said, "You go to school right there?" I was like, "Yeah." "Do you want extra sour cream with that? You want olives?" I'm
Yeah,
still trying to
yeah.
focus, and
Pushing,
he's trying to give me this gift,
pushing.
not coach him. He's trying to give me this gift. The Lord is trying to give me this gift, but I'm not paying attention to him. I'm still trying to take this gentleman's order. So he says to me, "Hey, I coach basketball on here. Any chance you'll play basketball for me?" I was like, "No, I got to work here and I got to pay for school. And my focus is on something else," because I went back to only playing 4 minutes a game.
Sure.
I didn't think I had what it takes. And he said, "If I get you a job, will you come play for me?" So I'm like, "You mean I get to make money and still play basketball? Perfect." So he came in the next day, offered me a job. Long story short, I'm an All American. We went state that year. It just was the right opportunity and the right time. And again, sometimes we ignore these messages. And I was so close to ignoring them. He was pushing to give me this opportunity, and I wasn't really paying attention because I didn't think I had it in me. I knew I loved the game. I just didn't think that it was a. Sometimes when you put in circles and blocks and circles, it just doesn't match, but you still compete and you still try to put it in there, and that's what was happening. And then once the circles matched with the circles and the triangles matched with the triangles, the blocks,
Mhm.
it was beautiful, man. I didn't look back. I was humble about it. I knew this was a gift. I knew I need to sharpen it and get better and stay focused, not go astray, not be a typical college athlete. I didn't have my first drink until 2 years in the NBA. So I was on that path.
Straighten
I
out.
was doing what I was supposed to be doing, and he just rewarded me.
See, the reason why I like the story so much because it just speaks volumes in terms of moving out of your own way.
Mhm.
And at a time where you was younger, you graduated high school at 16. And
Yes.
so being 17, 18, you on your own. This is something my own father talked about is like the presence of having a male figure in that specific time frame in your
Mhm.
life that can guide you and lead you. And by the grace of God, you did run into that coach that he seen what he needed to.
Yeah.
And like I say, your preparation, you was in position already. It was just a matter of the stars aligning. And so I like the theme for today is no opportunity too small because in today's day and age, sometimes I think we undermine the essence of what opportunity is. And for somebody that's not in the room,
Mhm.
there's no such thing as is an opportunity that's too small. And for somebody that's in the room, if you're really standing in the room, then you also understand there's no opportunity that's too small. Because
Right.
if you got in the room, then you need to understand you can make it bigger.
Yeah.
And if you're not in the room, this is how you get in the room.
And as everyone is listening to you talk about the opportunities, they don't come to you on your back or on sitting on your ass.
Oh no.
You have to be in the flow of the river for somebody to reach out and give you a gift or give you a chance or an opportunity or to either shine or your knowledge is up enough where you can handle the job that's in hand. But and I did that. I didn't slack off. I was at, even though I wasn't playing, I paid attention. I was there early. I stayed late. I worked on my game. I was terrible, but I still worked on my game. And like I said, when those things just lined up, I the initial thing that I did was most important to me was I took it upon myself to not to do what everybody else was doing, and that's go south to go to college. I went north.
That's the separation piece.
Yeah.
I got a similar story. I did the same thing just on the football end. When I was in college, so I left the crib. Matter of fact, I came out here my first freshman year of college. I went to prep school for basketball.
Mm,
I started out at Westwind. I spent about 2 months there, and then I transitioned to a program that wasn't really a program in the end. So from there, my transition back to the field was a straight V line. I went to Scottsdale for a spring semester. Didn't like it there. Transferred to Cerritos. That's when I got to LA in what
mhm,
2014 that June. And from there, that's one of those things where the stars align. I ran into a really good coaching staff. They was fair, they was honest, and the policy was the best players play for me. And so I was maybe one out of 15, 16 out of state because California junior college, they don't recruit out of state.
right.
Most of them don't, especially on the football end. They don't have to.
And no scholarships.
None.
None.
So you gotta
To fend for yourself.
you
You know what I'm
gotta,
saying?
I had at the time, man, I'm forever grateful and indebted to my support system because my family was really all hands on deck throughout my undergrad experience as an
Mhm,
entirety, like both hands on my back. Until I was able to get on my feet. And so I'm, like I say, forever grateful for my family and what they was able to do for me in that time because those were the small opportunities that I had to capitalize on
mhm.
just to get out of that situation. If you've been in junior college, then
Yeah,
you understand what type of grind that really is
yeah,
and how much time you spend without the help.
yeah,
Just time I'm putting in, hours I'm putting in,
yeah.
ain't really no help.
It's high school without the structure.
Bingo.
It's
High
because you
school.
got bells and teachers and
Mhm.
principals and counselors that are guiding you. But in junior college, man, it's like no bells. It's nobody saying, hey, get up. No
Nah,
mom
none
and
of
dad
that.
pushing
None
you.
of that.
It's you got to start really getting it yourself.
None of that.
Yeah.
And that was honestly in that time is when I learned the essence of just capitalization on the things that I can't control. That time I was hungry as probably as I ever was. 18, 19, literally. Every way, every shape. I'm in a one bedroom apartment. Ain't no AC in here. I'm
Yeah.
sleeping on an air mattress for 6, 7 months until my shit blew up.
Yeah.
The air mattress blew up. That's what led us to get twin beds at the time. We didn't even get the full size, not the queen.
Yeah.
I was sharing it with my cousin. We was side by side in twin beds at 18, 19, trying to make something out of
Grinding.
nothing.
Yeah.
And so just the art of understanding what opportunity is, like you said, it doesn't happen from sitting on your hands. And like you say, I always talk about this, which is being in position. Right. So even if you're not in position, if you want to get there, you need to be working towards it at
Yeah.
least. You got to give somebody something they can work with and give them a destination to meet you at. Because if you don't bring nothing to the table and you're looking for somebody to let you in the room, it's hard when you got a room full of people that's in the room.
Yeah. And they say the cliche thing, and then when the magic happens, trust me, the magic doesn't happen in front of people. It happens when you are dolo, when nobody's watching, when nobody's paying attention, and you are really in that grind. Whether that's if you're a rhymer, if you are a DJ, if you playing ball, if you're a student, you're gonna get better at whatever you have your passion and love for by yourself. And then when you have an opportunity to be on either stage or court or field, that's when you're gonna shine. But when you by yourself is when you really see if you really love something.
True,
Yeah.
very true. When you by yourself and you forced to sit with that. I work with the younger generation, middle school, high school, elementary kids, and one of the things that I always tell them is just like your habits, that preparation that you have, that you spend in your downtime, you spend in your off time. I can take you far as back as I was 9 years old when the Sebastian Telfair documentary first came out. I just
Mhm.
remember my pop sitting me down. He made me watch the doc, and then the next day we went and practiced the same drills we seen in the documentary
Yeah,
for the art of, for one, just routine of habit, good habits. You say you want to play something, you say you want to be the best at something, this is what it takes.
that's what it takes.
And in the gym where fresh out of school, I'm right to the rec, because at the time he's the athletic director of the Recs. I'm right to the gym after school, clear the gym out. I work on this drill for an hour and a half, homework, and then I got practice at 5:30. So my
Yeah.
team, we finna come in here, we do another 2 hours.
That's
And
the
then
grind
and
though.
then after practice,
Yeah,
I got 25 makes on the free throws. We can't go home until I make
yeah,
25. So just I said I really appreciate the art of smaller opportunities, because that's honestly that's where the foundation is created. In the art of who you are, what you're going to apply, and essentially what your outcomes will result in is how that foundation is set up.
yeah,
Some of us have to build a foundation with help, some of us have to do it without. But nonetheless, foundation is essential
yeah.
when you're trying to climb and you're trying to elevate.
And both sides too. We actually came from small beginnings, but I have conversation with Grant Hill, who's a guy who's had everything handed to him. And,
Mm,
and his name from day one was, oh my God, Grant Hill, prestigious Duke University, All American. His father, NBA, NFL player, his
mhm,
mother in the government. So the expectations were so high for him. And the pressure that me and you probably didn't have being from small beginnings, he had from being in the bigger beginnings. But he said the same thing. The things that I worried about and you worried about, and on a smaller level, he worried about too, but just in a different type of way.
mhm.
And it still takes that same grind, knowing that he has a target on his back. Everybody wants to give Grant Hill their best game. Everybody wants to take Grant Hill's head off. Why is he getting these privileges? Why can he speak this way? Why does he look this cute? Why?
Yeah.
On and on. Those are the different type of pressures that me and you acquired. But at the same time, if you were out there listening, if you starting from the bottom or you already have a humongous talent that people are saying, hey, he's destined to be the next whatever that is. There's still, you have to apply the same things, whether you're at the top or you're at the bottom, to try to get to wherever your dreams may lead you.
Perfectly said. That's like I say, that's a lot of you speaking to a lot of what I'm
Hmm.
speaking to, and
Yeah.
anytime I'm speaking out or I'm putting out, especially on my social media platform, I always like to give people stuff they can use, like news they can use and they can apply like right now though. You know what you said, and I think specifically for the young cats that's on their way and destined to be in that spot, or you want that shine. It's the habits, like you said. It don't matter if you come from nothing or you come from everything. The grind really is the same,
Yeah.
and for as long as you respect the grind, and you're willing to put up, then you're allowed to ask for it.
Yeah.
I always say if you're not willing to put up for it, you shouldn't ask for it. That's just the law of reciprocity.
And it's not easy. It's not easy at all. Don't think that, man, this process is going to be easy. It's going to be times you're going to doubt yourself. You're going to doubt others. Others will doubt you, but you have to push through all that. Your persistence have to push you through all that. And you're going to have some fears.
Absolutely,
You're
comes
going
with
to
the
have some,
territory.
you're going to be scared. You're going to be nervous.
Been
Once,
there.
once I really got to the level of basketball where I knew I was counting on each and every night, it would get me to a point where I would have to throw up before I went out there because I would be so nervous and butterflies going. And it just had to do that, just nervousness. And so don't think that the best of the best don't have the jitters, like it comes so easy for them.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
They're passionate about what they do, just like you are.
And you know what? Along the process, because I think some people just have a misunderstanding. you are allowed to take lumps.
Mhm.
You're allowed to take lumps. Like, and the misconception is if I'm take lumps or I reach failure, that I am a failure or I'm not doing enough. No, that's not the case.
Yeah.
How I see it was, and I had to change my perspective because I used to feel like, especially when it came to ball, I didn't receive my recognition or the credit I thought I deserved until my last year of football, which where I was an All American
Yeah.
and top in the country. I didn't give up no touchdowns. I only had what, 3 interceptions that year, but two of them were touchdowns. We won
Yeah.
them 2 games. And so I always felt I didn't get what I was supposed to get, but my mindset changes to where it's not that I'm not worthy of it. Maybe I'm just not prepared enough. And
Yeah.
that's the art of
Because that preparation of those years until you got to your last year you might not have handled it that way. Having that success early might have
exactly.
ruined you because I have seen that time and time again. I grew up with players that are way better than me, but they just didn't handle being in a position where other great players are with them. Now, all of a sudden, you're not the best player. How do you handle that adversity? So I think the preparation that you had pushed you to that point and got you right where you need to be.
Most definitely. I could just recall like that summer, that senior summer. I was working out in the morning with my cousin DA. Then in the afternoon, I'm working out with my cousin Slash. Right. So two workouts a day. Sometimes there's a weightlifting period in that. But the whole theme of the summer was All American. And they'll vouch for me. My father can vouch for me as well, because that was the only declaration I made going into
Yeah,
that season was that's the only thing that I have not gotten. Ain't no accolade I haven't reached. I was on fire all 3 years of playing ball. I've been on fire, but I don't have that.
yeah,
And to me, in a small school where I was coming from, and I had NFL aspirations and dreams, that was gonna be the only thing that could get you even in the door. You're
gotcha.
gonna have to be All American. For them to even come down here and say,
Yeah,
is he worth it?
yeah.
You're gonna have to be that. That was the only
Well,
declaration I had.
back it up a little bit. When did that last dragon, Bruce Leroy, glow and you knew you had that glow? Yo, I can do this.
It was
Did you feel it? Did you know it, or somebody had to shake you and wake you up? Hey, man, you glowing right now.
one of the things I always been weary of was the work.
Mhm.
And so the only way that I feel like I could have that glow about me, it came from the work. And that was honestly what my father instilled young. So as a kid, I had an itch, like a heavy one.
Yeah.
But to put the whole project together, I would say right after my junior year, my first year at Hastings, I had
Wow.
set it off for real. Like I
Wow.
came down and
Junior high school or
junior
college?
in college.
Wow.
Junior in college, right after that third season at Hastings, because I had just came off a bunch of turmoil before I had got there. Life moving a little fast. I had bounced around school to school. This was like the first place I was able to call home. I was able to put my feet on the ground
Mhm.
again. And I'm just like, I didn't really have much to say.
Yeah.
I wasn't out and about my junior year. I was tucked off because I was just in that, I was in that mode.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I get my feet on the ground again, it's on. Man, after that junior year, and I went back to the crib and I'm training, I'm like, all right, watch. Y'all thought last year I was on fire. I'm gonna show
Did
y'all.
you feel it, or was it somebody tugging at you like,
Nah,
"Hey, yeah,
I felt it.
you felt it, huh?"
I could
Yeah.
just. It was when you in that mode and you in that zone,
Yeah.
it's running through you.
Yeah.
Everything I'm doing, every feeling, every drill, every workout, I'm busting it.
Man, that's crazy. It took me a while. It took me my after my rookie year, the summer of my rookie year in the NBA to figure out like I got the glow. I'm Bruce Leroy about this thing.
Yeah.
And it's just me going over the numbers. We lost only one summer league game, and I was the leading scorer of the leagues that we're playing in now. I know you're thinking this is just summer league, but the fact that the names that was in this league, the Michael Coopers, the James Worthies, the
This
LaSalle
summer league we
Thompsons,
talk about too.
this is
These
real go getters. You know what I'm saying? Dominique came and played a couple of times, and I'm like, okay, I might can do some things in
oh
this league.
yeah.
I might can hang around a
Oh
little bit.
yeah.
And I just never looked back after that. That next year, I ended up being a starter on the Suns, going into the playoffs, and then I just took off from there. But when you do feel it, it is so special.
It,
And you try to ride it as much as I
it
know I tried to ride it as much as
as
I
long as you
could.
can, as long
Yeah,
as you can, because you only
yeah,
get it once. You
yeah,
only get that feeling one time, and
yeah.
it don't resurface the same way if it
No,
ever comes back, and you will
no,
never be that same version of
no,
yourself again. So
never.
just the moment of it, like to capitalize that feeling, like I say, right after my junior year, because that's really when the dream became real. It's like, all right, we got one more year of ball left, and then we finna make that push.
Yeah,
We all hands, feet, everything in here. Let's get on.
all in.
And I had, like I say, man, I had the support system, but you speak volumes to the other end because you created your foundation. through just trial and error, through experience. For some of them kids that's out there watching, or the people that's watching that come from the bottom and you come from the low end, and your support is not maybe what you think it should be or what it could be, understand the power of choice is the difference. When you choose what you want and you decide and you make up your mind, it's not really much that can deter you or throw you off path
Yeah.
when that's your choice. With or without, you still got a choice. And for as long as you make that choice, as many times as you can make that choice, that's gonna be the difference.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the
And them
difference.
obstacles is difficult to leap
And you
over.
gotta
It's not
show
gonna be easy.
mm-mm, mm-mm.
And it wasn't easy for us. It was just you have to understand exactly what's going on, recognize that they are obstacles, and stay focused. And that I wouldn't say tunnel vision, but be aware of your surroundings and what's going on. Because I've said this multiple times. We all know Michael Jordan, probably the greatest, but we would have never known Michael Jordan if something had happened to not make him who he
Right.
is.
Absolutely.
Ankle injury here, knee injury there, a gunshot there, limb bias drug overdose. It's all kind of stuff that can get in your way. But if you stay focused, most likely you can go to sleep. Whether you made it or didn't make it, you can go to sleep at night satisfied with your work.
And that I think that's the end game, is the peace of mind is what comes from knowing that when it came to my opportunities and my chances in life, I showed up for them in the best of my capability,
Yeah,
as best as I could. And you, like you said, that'll help you go to sleep at night, at least if nothing else, with some
yeah,
peace, knowing when it came time to put up, I did. And that's what my father would always say: if it ever don't work out for us, it ain't gonna be because of lack of effort.
yeah.
If just one thing we can control, it's the effort. So when it come to that, it's all hands on deck, and we're gonna let the chips fall where they may after that. I definitely want to thank you for coming through, man, and
Anytime.
giving the people some, just some insight and some information on how to wiggle through small opportunities, how to tackle adversity, and understand that whether you up high, whether you low, the grind is the same. So
It's
if
the
you're gonna
same.
predicate on something, just predicate on being consistent in the grind and showing up, especially in the dark, but in the light as well.
True.
Club Bounties, appreciate y'all.